And we're back again with another episode of IMP UHC, starting off here with Team Blue, who is riding across the field on their horses. Now, they are able to not only cover a lot of ground with these horses, they're also able to more easily find their enemies, as well as give them quite an advantage in the fight, because when you're on a horse you can shoot your bow without being slowed down, and you are able to get quickly around your enemy, making it quite confusing to fight you. Definitely a good position for Team Blue here, but while they are hunting for others, let's hop over and see what is going on with Team Purple. Team Purple is at the edge of the map, no longer having to worry about the approaching border, which has now stopped at the end of last episode, leaving only an area of 400 by 400 left to fight in, making it sure that the teams will be very likely to meet each other, but they are using their position here on the edge to try and gather themselves some last apples before entering into the combat. Most likely they haven't been able to find enough apples just from the get-go, and are now trying to make up for the lost time. But while they are doing that, let's hop over and check out Team Yellow. Team Yellow are preparing themselves for the combat, it looks like. They are cleaning out their inventory, depositing what they don't want and keeping what they want before they head into combat. Most likely sorting their inventory so that in case they kill someone, they can quickly pick up whatever they dropped and make it out of there alive. Hopping over to Dangers, it looks like Dangers has just about dodged Team Blue, who's just passed right by him. It looks like they have managed to see that it is there, but is not going to pursue him any further. They don't want to give up the benefit of the horses to go and hunt him underground. However, might suggest that Dangers here is looking for a little bit more of a cautious approach, or perhaps he has seen something below. Hopping over to Team Yellow, we are on the move as well. We are now ready to combat the other teams. However, back on the hill from before, they need to find their way down, and one good way to get down is to use some water. So let's make sure that the path is clear. No one will be around to attack them while they are going down before we dump the water bucket and jump down. Returning over to Team Blue, we are still on the move, and we seem to have been making a full circle here, coming up on the place where Raven died. The teams are definitely close together. It's just a matter of time before they run into each other. Can't be long now before we see some more action going down. It's a question of what team is going to meet the other. We'll have to wait and see what happens. This looks like the hill where Dangers had been. Now the question is, did Dangers go down underground here, or did he go to another spot? I'll have to wait and see what happens, but he's definitely not on the surface at this point. Purple team is still gathering up some apples, but can't be long before they start hunting as well. Team Teal, on the other hand, is back underground, maybe looking for more resources. It doesn't look like they have managed to get themselves completely enchanted yet, so they're definitely not quite ready for the combat. The surprise of the border might have lost them a little bit of valuable time, but hopefully they can make up for it. Danny Boy here trying to manage with the monsters of the cave. Trying to make a little bit of a cautious approach on the monsters that is gathered inside a little bit of a water pocket here. Pushed back by the water, it should be fairly safe to take them on, but we're going to have to wait and see what is happening. Yuruta, on the other hand, is grinding for gravel, making ready perhaps for them to join the combat. But just as he does, something around the corner surprises him, and Dangers has made his way down into their cave. He has no doubt seen them below the ground and is now going in, taking a notch apple to enter the combat. He is going to be virtually immune in this combat, at least for a little bit. Manages to take out Yuruta and is going for Danny. Danny has to survive this approach for a long while before he can actually damage Dangers or face death, but unfortunately he gets pushed into a dead end and Dangers manages to take him out using a notch apple, which is 1 apple with 8 blocks of gold. In order to do this, a lot of gold invested in this kill, but he does manage to take out an entire team in doing so and potentially getting himself some valuable resources in the process. But just as we're saying that, Team Blue and Team Purple are engaged in combat. One hiding in the forest where they were grinding apples. No doubt the decaying leaves were giving away their position just as the blue team rolled up, and they are now locked in combat. Luckily for the purple team, the blue team has to cross water in order to get to them, so they can't quite approach and are forced to fight it on horseback using arrows. Blue team seems to be moving back, but just as they do, another team suddenly enters the fray. Yellow team sneaking over the hillside to try and flank the purple team. Now, unlucky for the yellow team, this happens just as the blue team were moving back, so they get found out before they are actually able to stop. And just as they are moving away, the blue team notices them and tries to counter-flank the flankers. Key here taking a couple of hits on the way out, but they seem both make it to relative safety, still across the water, where they're safe from the horses of the blue team. Key here deciding to put up a little bit of a fight, but we'll see if it continues to an actual battle or if it is going to end here. Arrows flying back and forth. Here we have the blue team managing to hit Kidegagon, and he thinks better of it and heads away. There's no reason to continue this fight without having some proper hits. And the blue team seems to agree. This is not the place to fight. This is not the place where you have the benefit of your horses. So there's no reason to fight right here. Let's see if we can find some other ground. But there's no reason to leave our little treasure here, the jukebox, behind. To take that thing with you in case you want to play some music in another place. So let's get out of here, guys. That marks the end of this battle with no kills, but some damage. Hopping over to Team Purple again here, we see them taking cover in the forest, waiting no doubt until it's a little more safe to come out before they actually approach the other teams again. This was a good spot for them to fight, but unfortunately it was not so good for the other team, which caused them to not approach. Team Black here, on the other hand, are down in the abandoned mine shaft still looking for resources, no doubt. They don't have any pieces of diamond armor, so it's definitely not a lot of diamonds they have found. However, they have managed to get enchanted, so that is always one good thing for them. Hopping over to Team Blue, we are back on the hunt, using the open terrain where their horses is at the advantage. They are seeing if they can draw the other teams out and face them in a place that is more beneficial towards themselves. Definitely a good choice if you have a horse as your main weapon of choice here. You want to be able to get to other people, so you don't want too hilly terrain and you don't want water, especially not water, because if you go into deep water you lose your horse. Hopping over to Team Yellow here, we are also on the move, having moved away from the area we were in before, but the question is, did they turn around? It's not safe to move at night, but the guy seems to be on top of it. Let's switch over to Team Purple though and see what's going on there. And just as we do, we see Team Yellow coming over the hill and a combat has started. Team Purple versus Team Yellow. Those that were hiding in the tree against those that were approaching. Let's see how the battle unfolds. For now, we are fighting each other at long range. There's no doubt that they're going to try and approach each other in a little bit to see if they can get into a better position. But here we have Pink putting up a little bit of a wall so they can be more safe. At least have something so they can't shoot over the leaves. The yellow team having the height advantage here. However, it would suggest that the purple team is a little more well equipped than the yellow team. So the yellow team might be forced to make an approach here, and definitely do try to do that. Key on the front with Jackarou in the back with the bow. Maybe seeing if they can get up there and attack them in close combat. Key managing to get a few flanking shots in before retreating. But just as they're doing that, Team Blue enters the combat, flanking Jackarou and taking him out, before trying to go for PiegonMC. He however gets down a lava bucket which takes out both horses and forces the blue team to recover, putting themselves out before they can fight. They manage to get themselves a couple of apples though before PiegonMC catches up, allowing them to attack and kill Key, but then the purple team moves in using the opportunity to attack the now weakened blue team, taking out first Pie and then Cheese. One more team out of the combat, two more teams out of the combat. Now purple team looking like a team in a good spot here. Now, hopping over to Team Black, we're still down in the abandoned mineshaft. No doubt that these two are thinking about heading towards the surface at this point. But you don't want to do it before you're ready. The only problem is every bit of the action is currently going on the surface. So if you want to even be a part of the action, you're going to have to be on the surface soon. No doubt these guys know this, so it wouldn't be surprising if we see them there soon. Now returning over to Team Purple, we see Pink and Jam here sorting through the loot of the combat. 4 people dead. There's no doubt some valuable loot in these piles. And we can see that they have both managed to get themselves at least 2 pieces of diamond armor. This team is starting to look very scary and definitely a contender for the final position in this battle. And there we have the dawn approaching, which suggests that this episode is about to come to an end. Looks like we're going to have to wait until the next episode to see how the battle progresses. Team Purple done sorting through the loot, now making it across the field just as the episode comes to an end. 2 teams left, 2 teams of 2 and 1 solo player. A lot of people dead and just a couple left. See you in the next episode.